Today we're talking about a health system that is very fascinating, and it caught my attention a couple of years ago when I met Dr. Bibi at an event in London. And I kind of cornered her and I was trying to find all this information out. I was very fascinated by it. Dr. Bibi works at Zulal Wellness Resort in Qatar, which is previously very popular with our clients and is operated by the world famous Chiva-Som, which is one of the most established health retreats in the world. Well, what's happened there is Chiva-Som have taken their 30-year plus of experience in this field, because they were one of the first health resorts ever, and coupled it with this very interesting indigenous knowledge from the Middle East to create this very wonderful concept. So before we get into the details with Dr. Bibi, some of you may know Rebecca, who works in my team. She was lucky enough to visit Zulal a few months ago, and she made a little video for us. So we're going to watch Rebecca's video. So bear with me a second while I find a way to share this with you.
When I arrived at Zulal, I was greeted with the warmest welcome, not at the desk, but with tea and a calm sit-down reception. From the very first moment, I felt my stress start to melt away. The aromas, the flavours of the tea, the beauty of the building, it was a full sensory experience. Zulal is operated by the world-famous Chiva-Som, pioneers of luxury health resorts. Their expertise shine through everywhere here. They set out to create the most iconic wellness destination in the world, and in my view, they've achieved it. What makes Zulal truly unique is its use of traditional Arabic and Islamic medicine, or TAIM, the only wellness resort in the world to do so. Before I even arrived, I had a consultation call with a naturopath who suggested the de-stress program. That bespoke element is one of Zulal's strengths. No two programs are ever the same. When I checked in, I already felt like my journey to recovery had begun. Zulal is divided into two areas: Discovery for families and Serenity, the adults-only section where I stayed. On my first day, I had a full consultation with a naturopath, followed by my TAIM consultation with Dr. Bibi. She explored not just my body type and health patterns, but also my emotions, and it became a truly therapeutic experience. I left with a deeper understanding of myself. My treatment plan was a mix of daily therapies designed to combat burnout: Shirodhara, Reiki, lymphatic drainage, and holistic energy work that left me deeply relaxed. I also experienced Zulal's physiotherapy unit with high-tech postural analysis, a gyrotonic machine, and even a super stretch session that revealed just how tight my body had become. The environment felt safe and nurturing, especially as a solo female traveller. The spa areas are separated for men and women, the staff are international, and the atmosphere is calm yet deeply professional. My Serenity room was on the lagoon with its own plunge pool and access to the saltwater lagoon, like swimming in the sea but with the option of a sandy beach just nearby. Sunset mocktails at the mangrove deck quickly became a favourite ritual. Throughout the resort there are so many thoughtful spaces: a library, a tea lounge with bespoke blends, and an apothecary where remedies are created just for you. The cuisine is exceptional, award-winning wellness dining where every ingredient is chosen for its therapeutic qualities. It's vibrant, satisfying, and never restrictive, with chefs tailoring dishes to your preference, even off menu. Zulal is alcohol-free, but with such inventive mocktails and delicious food, you never feel like you're missing out. For activities, the Discovery side offers creative workshops like pottery and embroidery, while the group classes cover everything from yoga to dance. Nighttime floating meditation, stargazing, and evening rituals make each day feel complete. For me, Zulal Serenity was exactly what I needed: a place of deep rest, rejuvenation, and learning. It's ideal for solo travellers, couples, or friends looking for a world-class wellness experience in a safe, supportive, and truly unique environment.
Wow. So that's one for the list of places to go, certainly for me. It looks amazing. Let me try and get rid of this off the screen. Sorry, bear with me. Stop sharing. Yeah, it looks absolutely fabulous, and what a great place for you to work, Dr. Bibi. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to welcome you, and I know you're the resident TAIM doctor at Zulal, so lots to find out about that. But I also want to find out about you and what got you into this great kind of area of holistic health, because you're actually from South Africa, aren't you?
Yes, correct. I'm from Cape Town, South Africa.
So tell us, how did you get into this whole world of TAIM?
So it's actually a really interesting story, Stella. Growing up, I was very attached to my grandmother, who was a very well-respected elder of our community in South Africa. She was someone who was not only a chef by profession, but she knew the religious system of Islam very well. So she was the person who taught people how to be engaged in religious practices, how to use certain herbal medicines to help heal their body, and essentially looking at a holistic nature. So she had fallen really ill, unfortunately, and that led my interest or spark into finding a system or exploring the world of science and medicine to find cures for ailments or diseases. And I had come across the program at one of our universities in South Africa, specifically in Cape Town. And that's where I found the Unani TIB program. So it focuses on Greek Arabic medicine. And I completed my studies, and here I am today in Qatar.
Wow. It always, it's interesting whenever I speak to people and why they, followed a certain line. It usually is about family and an inspirational character in the family who inspired them or, made them want to go down that route. Tell us a bit about the Unani, the Greek Arabic, because I hadn't, what's that about?
So Greek Arabic medicine essentially dates back to ancient civilization. We're talking about the Greek philosopher Hippocrates. So Hippocrates is actually the individual who started this whole motion towards now what we know in Qatar as TAIM, so traditional Arabic and Islamic medicine. So in that ancient time, they looked at how we have an environment surrounding us. And in the environment, we have certain elements: air, fire, water, and earth. And then they looked at in the internal system of our body how we have certain liquids known to be the blood, yellow bile, black bile, and our phlegm or mucus. And the science had later died down because of the different movements in the eras. And in the Islamic Golden Age, from the 7th to the 13th century, there was a great Persian physician philosopher by the name of Ibn Sina. In the West, everyone knows him as Avicenna, and in the East, he's known as Ibn Sina. So he was the mastermind behind the system as we now know today, being TAIM. So he further went on and took the Greek philosophy that Hippocrates had started, and he further expanded. And exactly 1,000 years ago, he had written the Canon of Medicine, which in fact actually later on was transported to Europe as the medical encyclopedia, which was utilized to someone's health and well-being.
Wow. You see, I can probably guarantee that nobody here knew that. It's really interesting that, it started from Hippocrates and then it was expanded by Ibn Sina.
Ibn Sina. So
Ibn
Yes.
Sina. Okay, we'll have to check him out further. So, but it was further expanded by him and then, as you say, exported to Europe, in terms of the foundation of medicine, I guess, all those many years ago. So, I mean, we've heard about similar systems in maybe, the whole idea of connecting with the elements and aligning with the elements. You hear it in Ayurveda. Ayurveda's become, quite popular for people who are interested in holistic health. And also Chinese medicine, the 5 elements. And so you hear all that. What is different about TAIM? How does it differ to, say, Ayurveda or traditional Chinese medicine?
So that's a very nice question, Stella. Thank you so much. TAIM actually differs in the sense that in Ayurveda, TAIM, and TCM, yes, we do have the foundation of the elements and how the elements link to our body in different ways. Whereas in TAIM, and a comparison I can give you is that in Ayurveda, what you might be as earth, being kapha, is completely different in TAIM. So in TAIM, an earth individual is known to be actually the vata in Ayurveda. The qualities linked to each and every element are completely different. So your vata person is known to be the air, and in TAIM, your air is known to be the sanguine individual, which are completely different individuals to what we might see with doshas and temperament.
So I guess if somebody comes to Zulal and has a consultation with you and they know what their doshas are from Ayurveda, they have to like completely forget about that, because will it be different? Will it be a different, or you know, or does it ultimately all kind of merge into the same type of treatments, let's say, for that type or humor?
So there are some overlapping sort of qualities linked to it, but in terms of TAIM, I think it's a more holistic, whole person-centered approach, because we're not just dealing only with knowing your temperament. We're discussing 6 very important lifestyle factors, from your food, your fitness, emotions, as mentioned by Rebecca previously, the way your body eliminates certain waste products, how we get in touch with our sleep at night, how we are exposed to different environments and how that affects our body. And essentially from that, one very important quote I always mention to every guest of mine is the fact that Ibn Sina said, it's so important to understand the type of person that has an illness and not the type of illness a person has. So when we focus on this nature, it's basically going down to, who is Stella? What does Stella need? What does she prefer? How can we create that balance from the inside out? So it's a way of life, actually. It's not just a healing system.
Yeah, which is totally different and totally the opposite of our modern kind of medical practice, I guess, which is diagnosing the illness and not really telling you why you have it, but telling you how to treat it. Where this, I guess, is more about who you are and maybe why you're prone to certain conditions more than other people are prone to them. So really understanding who you. I think it all gets back to that level of individualization, because we've seen with health now and health practices, you know, we've gone down this kind of tech, biotech route where people are talking about longevity and individual health, and individual tech, you know, individual prognosis and diagnosis through a lot of testing and all of that. But I guess it's the same principle. We've just made it more modern and technological around finding out who you are rather than putting you into this big group of averages and saying, okay, you fit maybe here. It's really, really interesting. So let's get into the details of TAIM and tell us, actually, before we get into the details so people can actually try and identify which type they are, I just want to share a poll, because I want to get an understanding here of what area of people's well-being they want to bring into balance right now. So I'm just going to share this poll. And I ask the audience kindly to just give us some indication. I mean, this is all quite broad, of course, but just to give us an indication of what is most important to them, so we can see. So right now we're at digestion and gut health, energy and vitality, bit of emotional calm, sleep and rest. Energy and vitality is a front runner. I love seeing all this because it's really interesting to see what's important to people. I mean, it's a small group, but energy and vitality is, I think, the most important thing for people. Yeah. And I guess that's when you're in a state of equilibrium and you're in harmonious health, where you're actually feeling really, you know, where you have that vitality and you're vibrant and, you know, you're kind of, it's a cliche, but you're your best self. I guess, in that. So yeah, thank you everybody for giving us that. Let's go into TAIM itself and tell us a bit. Shall I share that slide?
Sure,
about
we can.
the TAIM chart? Is that good? Well, you can talk
Yes.
from that. Okay. So hopefully you can all see this. But this is a slide shared with me earlier by Dr. Bibi.
So essentially, when we look at this chart, it is breaking down our 4 temperaments, which are the ones beautifully described by the great Persian physician philosopher Ibn Sina, and also previously worked on by Hippocrates. So what they looked at was how we have our environment. And in the environment, we've got the elements being air, fire, water, and earth. And then with each and every element, we've got a corresponding liquid or humor that is within our body. And the interaction between the element or the liquid and humor comes from the internal balance of our body. So Ibn Sina, Hippocrates, they both looked at how we actually have something within us called physis. So physis is Physis. And physis is our body's own ability to actually heal itself from within. And like that doctor picking up the different signs and then showing us different symptoms as states of imbalance, as we say. So in order for our body to be in balance with our environment, there are 6 very important lifestyle factors, being our food and drink. So I see digestion and gut health as one of the second sort of top leaders there in the poll. So food and nutrition, essentially, or food and drink, how we have the different environment or how we are exposed to different temperatures and how our bodies respond individually. The third one being our sleep. So what sort of sleeping patterns do we have? Any disturbances, wakeful nights, insomnia? The fourth one being the way our body gets rid of waste products. So our elimination methods via waste, like stool or our urine, in females as well, menstrual cycle. Ibn Sina and Hippocrates also looked at someone's emotions. So how our emotions can take over and really give us that, what modern science looks at, the psychosomatic expression of illness. So how our mind or experiences, emotions can alter the functioning of our cells. And lastly, the type of fitness activity someone is engaging in. So all of these 6 lifestyle factors are very important into balancing our temperament, essentially. And when we boil down to the elements and the different liquids, we'll see what qualities are shared here. So the first one being air. When Ibn Sina and Hippocrates discussed the element of air, they said it's a quality. So the qualitative expression of it is it's got heat and moisture. Similarly to, the very humid environment we might be surrounded by, air is something that's naturally hot and contains water droplets. So it's something that's constantly circulating around us. We're taking that deep breath in. And then inside of our body, we can actually find air within our blood. So the humor or liquid that they looked at was the blood. And the blood is actually also naturally hot and consists of moisture. And inside of our blood, we're transporting oxygen. So the air is inside of the blood circulating throughout our body. So they looked at this individual who has air or the blood as the very dominant sort of element or liquid of their body, calling them sanguine. So the sanguine person is the sunshine, the life of the party, someone who's extremely cheerful, social, playful, energetic, optimistic, and always out there joking, friendly, and full of energy. In terms of their body, so we each have certain factors which also contribute to our temperament, being our body's physique, the shape of our eyes, our face, the way our hair is, the way it grows, the way our nails are, the way our skin is. So everything collectively, how we are in personality, how we speak, walk, 360 view on who you are. So the sanguine person, in terms of their body or physique, they would be more in the medium build, having very glowy skin, and also very good circulation. When it comes to states of imbalance of a sanguine individual, we'd find them experiencing or going through different phases of things like overeating, hyperactivity. They always feel like they need to be doing something, and especially digestive issues like bloating or gas would be presenting within their body. These are just a few to name, but we do go in depth during the session. So it's not just a few superficial questions. We're actually asking you deep analytical questions and observing your body's sort of posture, the behavior you have when you're answering certain questions, and your emotional sort of feeling as well. So that in a nutshell is the sanguine person. We often refer to them, as I said, the life of the party. So I'm sure we all have that sunshine life of the party person in our life. The next one being the...
I just want
Yes.
to ask something about that. So you said that you ask other types of questions. Can you just give us a couple more? Because a lot of this is about kind of physical
Yes.
physical symptoms, but maybe give us a bit more around
my very sort of big field that I focus on with my guests, and I'm sure Rebecca has shared with you as well. She said we touched on emotion. So that's one of the lifestyle factors I do dive very deeply into, because Stella, at the end of the day, when it comes to energy and vitality, what is the number one thing linked to it? Burnout, or really sort of tired, fatigued feeling because of our work environment or our personal life, and not learning how to put ourselves first. So we're always taking care of everyone else, always taking care of work, but leaving ourselves for last. And that's when we sort of get the depletion of our energy levels, feeling tired, because we're not really focusing on that emotional aspect. It's something that's often forgotten. But when we take care of that emotional well-being and the mind, the body, and the spirit or soul, and not just isolating the body as one entity and focusing on those signs and symptoms, we can actually achieve what we say sustainable wellness, as you mentioned previously. So we do dive very deeply. And the simple question,
emotion there. And what is an emotional symptom for the sanguine, for the life of the party person?
So the sanguine is like air that can constantly be changing direction and movement. We'd find them being like a little bit of a roller coaster ride with emotions. They can experience extremes, excitability, happiness, and then very sad, sort of down feeling at the same time, or in the short space of time, they can go through a little bit of a wave, as we call it.
Great, thank you. Let's move to the next one. Yeah.
Yes, so the fire individual. So when we look at fire as an element, it has the qualities of heat and dryness. So within our body, we actually hold heat and dryness in a specific organ and system. Stella, where do you think we hold it?
Our heat and dryness?
Yes.
Our bones?
No, close one though.
No?
I'll tell you. Our digestive system.
Okay.
Yeah. So our liver is actually the very dominant organ within the fire element. Right. It has heat and dryness to it, and it creates a liquid called yellow bile. So yellow bile is that very hot, acidic sort of liquid that's stored in the gallbladder and then enters the digestive system once we take in some food or we have certain metabolic processes happening. And essentially, if you ever experience acidity or reflux, what does it feel like? It's a hot and dry sensation. You always feel like you need to drink some water, or upon awakening in the morning, if you have reflux and you suffer with it during your sleep, you'll find that very sore, dry throat. And that's purely because it's linked to that element of fire. So Ibn Sina described this person as, we can use interchangeably the terms bilious or choleric. So the bilious or choleric person is someone who is a go-getter, always ambitious, strong-willed, a leader, competitive in any sort of field of life, and very quick or short-tempered, so they can snap very quickly. If something doesn't go their way. They're very reactional individuals. But I like to say the bilious person is someone who has like a social battery. So they can go out to a gathering, but if after some time they really feel, oh, okay, I need to go home and relax, this would be your bilious or choleric. They often are known to be the bossy, always busy, motivated, and impatient person. So in terms of their body, always lean or muscular or very athletically shaped in their body. Extremely sharp features, so maybe the jaw or the hands, certain shoulder, like the shoulders, like swimmers' shoulders and so forth. We find these are certain signs or symptoms, physical expressions of the bilious. Their body would naturally radiate a lot of heat. So, when you're sitting next to someone and you feel, oh, you've got actually a lot of heat around you, it's that individual who's known to be the bilious or choleric. In terms of when their body's not balanced, we would see things or emotions like anger being an expression, acidity or reflux, headaches, inflammation within the muscles or joints, and insomnia being one of those sort of experiences that they might have. So in a nutshell, the bilious is the go-getter.
The go-getter. Interesting. How, I know we'll finish the other two, but do you look for people who have one specific trait, or can you have an element of all of these as an individual, or you're always kind of diagnosed with being one of them?
So this is a very interesting question. I get it quite often. And when we look at the theoretics or the humoral theory, as Ibn Sina and Hippocrates has stated, they always say that you've got one dominant temperament. So our temperament will always remain fixed. And then we've got the rest in sort of a subdominant present. And then there is sort of compound temperament sometimes. So someone can be a little bit of two of them, but one always maintaining that dominant sort of position. An example being myself. I'm naturally known to be a sanguine dominant with a subdominance of phlegmatic. So the water's my subdominance there. But you're always going to have that fixed sort of state of your dominance. In terms of illness states or when you're going through different phases of life, we can fall into imbalance categories. So a sanguine person can go through a bilious or a melancholic or a phlegmatic imbalance state. And that we look at during pulse reading or pulse diagnosis, having a look at your tongue as well for diagnostic sort of technique. And we can identify what's actually going on within the body in that specific time and move you back to your original phase of dominance.
Right, interesting. I'm just going to stop you for a minute because people are saying they can't see you. Is it just Rosie and Joe who can't see Dr. Bibi, or is it everybody? Because I can see her clearly. So I just want to make sure people can see you. Let's see. Can someone else let me know if you can see Dr. Bibi, please? Oh, you can see her clearly. I think it may be to do. Oh, you can't see her either. Are some people on the phone and other people on an iPad or on a laptop? Okay, so most people can see. I think it's the settings of your iPhone or maybe your iPad. If you swipe the screen, you may be able. You hopefully can see her. Oh, Mandy, so I think on the phone you can't see. Maybe it's the setting of the phone. Well, I'm sorry about that. I will check that for our next one on the phones and maybe give you some advice about that. But maybe with just swipe her across. Anyway, she's a beautiful lady. I'm really sorry you can't see her because she's really beautiful. Okay, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure that because I saw.
No problem.
Yeah. Let's carry on with the types. So the phlegmatic.
Yes. So the phlegmatic temperament is linked to the water element. And here water, as Ibn Sina described, was a very cold and moist sort of qualitative nature to it. So water has the ability to take on any shape and form. We can place it into a cup, a bowl. It can occupy that full capacity of that sort of object that we're placing it into. So when they looked at the system of our body, they actually found that the sort of substance called phlegm or mucus actually has the similar ability. It's naturally cooler in its temperature or quality and consists of the wetness or moisture. It's like the stickiness within. And we can actually find phlegm in different spaces or cavities, and it occupies or fills those shapes and spaces within our body. So firstly, being the sinus cavities, it's lining our digestive system. And then it's also present in male and female reproductive systems. So in females, we get the discharge, and then in males, it's the carrier of the sperm, essentially. So I like to make people aware of this because they don't actually realize that phlegm is everywhere. It's even in our skin.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah. So the person who has this dominance of that phlegmatic humor, we call them the phlegmatic individual. And the phlegmatic is known to be the very chilled or cozy individual, very calm, accommodating, good listener. They always would listen before they speak. And they're known to be an ambivert. So they always first more reserved, and then they will warm up to you and then become more extroverted if you the right crowd of people, friends, family members, workspace. If they need to become a forced extrovert, that's something that can happen. In terms of the phlegmatic, being a phlegmatic individual, you will always look more youthful than your age.
Okay.
So that's it's a
So that's good. If you're a calm and gentle person, you're going to look younger, basically. That's really good.
And in terms of the body, we'd find the phlegmatic having more of a softer body. They can gain weight easily and difficulty in losing weight. They would have more pale or cool skin. And in terms of imbalanced state, we'll find them experiencing things like lethargy or slowed digestion, colds or flus, water retention, swelling within the body. These are certain states or symptoms that can actually show us imbalance. And then lastly, we move on to the earth element, which, as Ibn Sina described, is something that's very cold and dry in its natural occurrence. So when we look at earth, he often related it to a very cold and dried up surface or something solid like a stone or rock. So within our body, coming back to what we mentioned earlier, the bones are actually like the earth of our body. So they looked at some liquid called the black bile. So black bile was something they described in ancient times as this residue that's left over within our body, essentially linking back to toxins. And those toxins, if not effectively removed via different elimination methods of our body, like stool, urine, the menstrual cycle, can accumulate to a point where we develop stone-like formation. So things like kidney stones, gallstones, cholesterol as well, which is the buildup of plaque within our vessels, constipation being one of those signs or conditions that we're experiencing. Essentially, it's a lot of cold and dryness leading to that solid sort of formation in the body. And the temperament we call is the melancholic. But not every melancholic person is a sad and depressed individual. No. I just always need to make you aware of that. Because people, when you tell them you're melancholic, they're like, no, I don't want to be a melancholic. But the melancholic is actually the wisest of them all. And linking back to Ibn Sina, I actually think he was a melancholic individual, because the melancholic is someone who's a very deep thinker. They're very analytical, creative, perfectionist oriented, and reserved. So if you visit the home of a melancholic person and you open the cupboard to take a little peek, you'll find everything is neatly packed, organized. They would always have a journal with them, planning their days of the week. Everything is sort of checked or ticked off. Goals, if they want to plan the year ahead, they would have like this is sort of what you would find with the melancholic individual. And we often call them the philosopher or artist. So they're very creative-minded individuals. So ranging from music, art, poetry, whatever it might be, that's their field of interest. And you can actually find them visiting museums and so forth. In terms of their body, they seem to be more slim, have a bit of dry skin, dry hair, and they tend to feel cold very quickly. So when it comes to different environments, you'll find the melancholic hates winter. Absolutely. They need to be in that warm environment, seeking that warmth from the sun. In terms of imbalance, as I mentioned previously, things like constipation, cholesterol, anxiety, as well as an emotion, sadness, stiffness within the body or muscles, and insomnia would be something, just to name, that they would experience as imbalanced state.
interesting. So it is actually very different to Ayurveda. I was waiting to see, like, is it going to be similar? But it is quite different. Although I guess the whole kind of philosophy around understanding yourself is there. Okay, let's do another poll, because I'd be interested to see from our audience which one you believe you fit in. And just take your primary one. I think we're all an element of a couple of these, and maybe more than that. But let's take the one that you most identify with, you would say, because that will be really interesting to see. Where is it? We have technical problems today. Well, we'll forget that. This is not working. Sorry, guys, we have a technical problem today. It was working a minute ago, but it's not working now.
Or maybe you can type it.
Yeah. Maybe it's going to take too long. Don't worry, I can type it. But maybe, if everyone can put in what they think their primary one is, that would be quite interesting. We could just get an idea there. We don't have. It just give us a bit of an interesting idea. Water, Mandy says. Melancholic, phlegmatic, earth. There's a real mix.
The food is earth, melancholic.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think water or fire. You're probably, Genevieve, you're probably a mix of the both. Air with earth, yeah. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. I think I am probably sanguine air, but I do have a bit of the others. I have a little bit of all of them, I guess. But I think the one the most. Which one are you, Dr. Bibi?
Also sanguine air.
Okay. And what would you say your secondary is?
Water.
Phlegmatic. Water. Yeah. Interesting. So how do you? Okay. So this, we've done this kind of introduction as to which type you are, health type you are. And how it shapes your physical and emotional well-being. But how do you, as a practitioner, kind of see whether somebody is in balance or imbalance using TAIM? How do you do that? I mean, I know is it through the pulse? Is it through, through other diagnostic methods? Is it, as you say, how people answer the questions, their body types? Let us know a bit more about that.
So essentially, to find out if someone's in a state of balance or imbalance, 100% correct, Stella, we use different methods. So first is observation. We observing your body language, the way you answer, as we mentioned previously. We then looking at in-depth questions. So not only just, what type of food do you eat, but are you having 3 meals per day? What are the types of proteins you incorporate into your dietary sort of practices? Are you having carbohydrates? What are foods that you dislike or aversions? And it's purely linked back to each and every one of our temperaments. So food is your medicine. As Hippocrates, Ibn Sina, everyone in the world of medicine and science says food is your medicine, it is 100% correct. So we look at very in-depth questions with regards to all of those 6 lifestyle factors. Fitness as another example. Not everyone can perform the same fitness activity and have the same energy level when completing that fitness activity. A lovely example I like to give is that if we take all 4 temperamental types of individuals and we place them outside in the boiling hot sun, and we tell you to run a 5-kilometer race, you'll find some people can do it with ease. They start and finish really easy. Others will not even attempt to do it because of that environment that's affecting them, the type of fitness activity. It all boils down to your individualized temperament. When we look at sleep, also, we go in depth with your sleep. What time are you going to bed? What time are you waking up? How many hours of sleep do you get? Are you a deep sleeper? Do you have broken sleep? So everything is really discussed with regards to sleep as well. And then, as I mentioned, also emotions and feelings. I'm the good bad guy at Zulal because I've got my tissue box on the table. And I really say, when you come to a TAIM consultation, it's not just questions and answers, but it's more of a conversation. And it's a safe space for you to really let go, to release, to get rid of those things that might be troubling you. And everything is strictly confidential. So only if required, with your permission, we then get other team members involved to help and aid you in that process. But catharsis, being the release of emotions, is something that's so important. And we need to find a safe space and someone safe to do that with. And that's where my consultation room is the safe space to do so. So I really get people wanting to scream, to cry, to shout and let it all out, And you actually, the question that triggers people is, how are you feeling emotionally? Because in science, and even when I was studying, my professor told me, he said, the number one reason why people come to you to seek help is because they purely want to speak to someone. It's as simple as that. Someone who doesn't know anything about them and will not pass any judgment, but will rather try to aid them in that sort of way in balancing their lifestyle. So essentially, why is it important and how do we identify that state of balance and imbalance? It's important to know the type of temperament we have and know how the person is doing in their sort of 360 view of their health and well-being. And the beauty of TAIM is it's not just a curative system. It's not only used for someone who's in a state of imbalance, but even the normal balanced person can use it as well to maintain that balance. So I had a guest in the past week, and she told me, she said, you know what? She reflected on a few days, and then she came back to me and she said, Bibi, I actually love this system because it's not just a system that I need to use when I'm experiencing some symptom or illness, but it's something I can implement for everyday life, for my kids, for my husband. It's a way of life, essentially. So those questions are important, making the person feel safe, which we do at Zulal, checking your pulse. So with pulse diagnosis, we're not just counting the rate and the rhythm, but we're actually feeling different parameters. Is your pulse superficial or is it deep? Is it thick or thin? How does it feel? And all these different sort of characteristics linking back to the pulse was something Ibn Sina had discussed in ancient times, and he's got a whole section in his Canon of Medicine on pulse diagnosis. We also look at, similarly to Chinese medicine, the tongue, so how the tongue is in terms of coating, shape, size. Is there any teeth marks, any cracks visible in the tongue? So that can also give a big indication of what state that person's body is in at that particular time. So I know I've been rambling on, but I can go on.
No, it's really, really interesting because just it gives more of an illustration about the whole holistic nature of the system, of the health system. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. I'm sure Rebecca won't mind me sharing that she said when she had her consultation with you that she was in floods of tears. She didn't expect to be, but she said Dr. Bibi always has the box of tissues there. So I thought it was quite sweet that you mentioned that now. She said she felt, so much better afterwards, just allowing it to come. I mean, she's a classic situation, and I again, I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning that she said when she came to Zulal, she came thinking, she just wanted to de-stress a little bit. But it wasn't until she got there and had all these consultations, she realized how burnt out she was because she has a young family and she works and so many other factors. So it was, all that release. I think that the idea of release is really good. So following up from what you just said about, the whole way of life and the system. So let's take a few of these and maybe give the audience some idea about how to live their lives, in terms of some of these types. Let's take, I don't know, what were the most popular ones we had in our chat?
I think the melancholic and the
Okay,
yeah.
let's do the let's do the melancholic one to start with. I'll share this slide again, actually. So yeah, the earth. So melancholic. So for example, yes. You're a melancholic earth type. How should you live your life?
So for our melancholic or earth type, we need to learn how to be very grounded, meaning that the type of fitness activity, for example, we can focus on fitness. Fitness is something very important for the melancholic, not to over-engage in things. Because when it comes to over-engaging different activities, which are like high intensity, done at the times where your body can be very vulnerable, like extremely early mornings or late evenings, and you do a high intensity, full duration of 50 to 60 minutes, we then end up with pain, aches, cramps in the muscle, and that's because our body is naturally constituted of cold and dryness. So essentially, for the melancholic individual, you need to be doing a short burst of that high intensity for about 10 minutes with a 5-minute break, and then you can restart for another 10 minutes and another 5-minute break in between. So you need to have some space of rest and recovery, as we say, in that active session.
That's interesting. So which of the types can sustain the longer kind of,
longer duration
and really active fitness fitness activities?
So that would be your water, your sanguine. They need more of if they're going to be doing high impact, it must be something like, the long duration to get their heat going in the body, because moisture is what's present within. So the moisture needs to be awakened and moved around, because Ibn Sina, when he looked at states of activeness or fitness, he said it's a state of dryness that's essentially working within our body. And when we look at states of rest or recovery, it's states of moisture, like sleep, for example. If we sleep, we're actually going into a very moisture state of the body, being very calm, relaxed, balanced, essentially. So the phlegmatic or the sanguine actually needs a bit of high intensity and longer duration to get their body going.
Interesting. But the melancholic needs to take it easy. So can do high impact, but needs to rest in between. How about, since we're on fitness, how about the fire, the Billies?
So the Billies, yes, Billies, so the choleric individual needs to do a bit of moderate to high impact exercise, but also with a little bit of breaks. But we do recommend that the fire individual or the bilious or choleric engages more in aqua activity, some stretching, things like Pilates would really suit their body.
Okay.
So why?
Calm down all that fire, I guess.
Breathing practices, meditation. These are very important for the fire individual.
It's interesting because with all these different types, and this is something I can align with Ayurveda, people seem to be always drawn to the types of fitness activities they need the least.
Yes.
and they don't want to do the ones they need. So the fiery individual, the strong-willed person wants to go work out for an hour and give it their all. But actually, that's you. But actually, what they need is to do breath work and yoga and more, So that's. But they just won't entertain it. It's quite interesting. I've always noticed that. I've seen it myself as well too. Like, what is it that you need?
And then we often we end up with those injuries or those sore muscles and so forth. It's because we're not actually doing what needs to be done for our body.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fitness. I will do it this way. That's actually a better way to do it. We'll go with the different activities. How about food types?
Yes, so food is very important. When we look at the different types, for example, your phlegmatic and sanguine. Your phlegmatic and sanguine are not going to benefit from things that are very carb-rich, sugary ingredients, salty foods, because moisture is there in their body, they will sort of hold on to those products within the body and then experience digestive upset, fatigue, feeling really tired after a meal, and you need to go take that 20-minute nap after lunch, and like sluggish behavior will come about. And that's purely because those types of foods are actually linked to that qualitative state. So carbs, sugary things, salty foods are all linked to like moisture. So it increases moisture within our body, making us more sluggish and sort of weak. Versus a sanguine and a phlegmatic individual can benefit from having a protein-rich diet, so ranging from plant-based or your animal-based proteins, with lovely warming spices for the phlegmatic. So ginger, things like chili, garlic, these are all going to help aid that phlegmatic individual. With your sanguine, carminative ingredients like fennel, cumin, cinnamon are going to help them. Same goes for the bilious or the choleric and melancholic individual. The melancholic individual would not benefit from anything that is sort of nightshade driven. So like black bile, it's a very dark sort of substance, the toxins. Nightshades are going to increase or be pro-inflammatory. So those would be examples like eggplant, cauliflower, tomato. These are not going to aid the melancholic person, but instead they should be having more moisture foods like carrots, broccoli, some pumpkin or squash. These are going to help combat that dryness from within and basically balance with moisture for the earth individual. For your bilious or choleric, they need to cut back on heavy proteins, lots of heating spices which can drive acidity. So they need more calming, similarly to the sanguine. Your fennel, cumin, caraway, bone broth is good for your bilious or choleric individual. Yogurt, for example, being a dairy product, it's going to help balance the digestive system and calm the acidity from within. So these are just a little bits to touch on.
Interesting. And anything else? We talked about the herbs, the food types, the fitness. How about I don't know, other activities or things like, for example, meditation and breath work and all of that? Does that suit all of these types, or?
So there's a nice activity I like to do with my guests is how to basically cool or heat your system with breathing. So we can actually do a quick example now, Stella, that for those who might identify themselves as being air or fire, we're going to do a certain breathing practice. So you can try it now while you're with us. And what you're going to do is you're going to do reverse breathing. So we're going to inhale through the teeth. So you're going to open your mouth and you're going to clench your teeth together. And what you're going to do is you're going to suck the air through the teeth, in through the mouth, and you're going to breathe out of the nose. Do you feel that cold entering your body?
Yeah.
So if you find your body in a natural state of heat, that is a certain technique you can actually utilize to cool the body from within. And then for the individuals who are more phlegmatic or melancholic, you are going to inhale through your nose, hold, and when you exhale, you create a little pursed circular shape with the lips. So and you'll actually find that the air entering the nostrils creates more heat, and then you cooling it out again, so it's more heating for a phlegmatic and a melancholic individual. So these are just certain techniques that you can do according to the type of quality that your body consists of. So either cooling practice through the mouth and out of the nose, or heating in through the nose and out through the mouth with a circular shape.
So interesting. So if you're a water or earth type, do some of the breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth with the pursed lips. And if you're air and fire and you need to cool down a little bit, you breathe in through your mouth and out through your nose. And you do that for 5 minutes each day, just to kind of get yourself into some kind of balance. That's a nice little tip. Thank you. So that could be like a bit of a daily meditation. And a daily I think it's just also carving out the time, knowing 5 minutes for me just to do this and honor my type, honor the type of person I am, and just kind of, give a little bit of reverence to that so that you can do it. So it's, very, very interesting. We are past we're up to our hour. I could carry on talking to you because this is fascinating stuff. But it's so interesting. It's so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Now, if you could just type into the chat again the name of your medic, because I keep forgetting it. Forgotten it already. Sorry, the guy who wrote the Canon of Medicine. Because that would be interesting for people to, if they want to delve further on the subject. Bibi Sana. I always forget. Anyway, not very good with names. So if anybody wants Ibn Sina or Avicenna. Okay, Ibn Sina. So if you want to, carry on.
So Ibn actually is the Arabic word for son of. So his dad's name was Sina, son of Sina.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. So if anybody's really interested in this, you can find out more through researching Ibn Sina. Or you can go to Zulal and have a session privately with Bibi, with Dr. Bibi. And she, in fact, we have a little promotion on this. So if anyone's going to go to Zulal, let us know that you've been on this Wellbeing at Home seminar, and you will receive a free consultation with Dr. Bibi, but you'll get an email about that afterwards too. So thank you so much for being with us, Bibi, and sharing this very fascinating wisdom. And Geraldine's asking, do you do online consultations? I'm not sure.
Not yet, but with regards to TAIM, but we do allow our pre-arrival consultation. So if you're coming to us at the resort, we prepare your program in advance with you on a call online.
Yeah, so but you'll have to go, Geraldine. You'll have to go because it is an amazing place. So thank you all for being present, coming along on your Saturday morning. For those who haven't watched it yet, I really hope you enjoy it, and or you have enjoyed it. And Dr. Bibi, thank you again, and wishing you all a wonderful weekend, and see you next time. Thank you so much.